So maybe some of you are wondering, what is this game exactly? So to be exact, this game is a roguelike co-op multiplayer FPS game that basically lets you kill enemies in dungeons. Each dungeon, placed one after another, consists of 4 small stages where you obliterate small enemies and one huge boss stage. Up until now, the game offers you 2 characters. The first ever character you will play is the cat or the crown prince. You will not get to play as the dog until level 30. But wait, do not panic, you will get there faster than you can say "I'll buy." Because currently there's no microtransaction for leveling, neither cosmetic, so it's all up to your dedication. Moving on, when you enter the adventure, the cat is loaded by the foundry, a default pistol all the characters have and a couple of smoke bombs that deal DPS if the enemy are standing within its radius. The cat is also geared with the power to lock the enemy for a certain amount of time. Different from the cat, who specializes at elemental damage, the dog have the power to Rambo your way all the way to victory. Geared with a couple of grenades and a foundry, pick up any weapon you like and you are ready to go. At the time I'm making this video, there will only be 3 dungeons. You will start your game at the tomb map where the enemies are stone statues that are pretty easy to shoot at because of their large head. This map offers you a diversity of simple enemy. For example, there is a guy who throws a grenade at you. Or there is this horse dude that block your attack from the front. And of course, there are enemies that simply just gonna shoot you. The boss for this map is a mighty shielded beast that will shoot lasers, throw rocks, and crush you. Then, after you finish that, you will go to the desert map, where the area is more open and empty, suitable for sniper gaming. This map will give you a more bulky enemies and snipers, so this map will actually need some thinking to beat. The boss for this map is some kind of desert worm that will spit lasers and poison. Then, after decreasing a certain amount of health, will start moving underground and attack you from below. Then you will move to the final map, the traditional Japanese/Chinese map. By being the last map, that means this is the hardest and the longest one by far. Enemies will become more complex and hit harder, faster, and stronger. More enemies will spawn with unique buff and elemental damage. The boss for this one is... Yes, that guy. If you think beating all of it in one go is hard, there will be a rest station in between those maps. You can fully heal your character and go back to the barn to get some rest. This game plays just like any other FPS with a dash mechanic to charge your way in or out of combat. Enemies sometimes drop weapons when killed, and sometimes those weapons are equipped with a unique encryption, like converting normal damage to elemental damage. By combining 2 out of 3 elements, you will get a new element. Not only weapon, but enemies also have a chance to spawn with elemental damage, heavy defense buff, or even spawns as elite, a more powerful being of themselves. Along the way you will come across a peddler that sells some good stuff, and if you really like your weapon, consider upgrading it with the Take Craftsman. Every time you finish a stage, there will be a chest that gives you buff to your main or secondary power, and every stage have a chance to spawn a challenge portal. From platforming to mini bosses, you can access it by shooting this kinda crack in the wall, and get rewarded by a scroll that may or may not make your survivability go up. More variation of this scroll and weapon can be unlocked by doing challenges written in your logbook. Also, once in a while, there will be a challenge time. It'll show on the top right of your screen. When it happens, basically, this sometimes can be annoying. Then, if you got tired of playing or just simply died, there will be a skill tree that you can upgrade. Currently, all the heroes have the same skill tree, except these 5 unique skill trees. If you manage to kill the last boss for the first time, you will unlock the Elite difficulty, where the game becomes harder and there are traps everywhere. So now that we get that out of the way, this is what I think about the game. Now, the game itself don't have any bug, or at least I haven't come across to one. I'm sure they are going to add more and more heroes to the game, but right now, these two existing heroes have the same skill tree, except for like 5 of them. I personally think that having different skill tree would make the game more interesting and full of content, so the game will become more grindable, cause I have no life. Players that have a different style can relate to different heroes, because right now cat and dog doesn't feel that different to play, or maybe just keep the expedition tree the same and change the other. Another thing that I wish they'll add to the game is a melee button. I'm that kind of guy that just go no brain and go to the heat of battle. And there's more than enough situation where a melee attack will be a great help. At least add one hero that have a melee power or something. Since I've beaten the game many times by now, everything become quite repetitive. It'll be nice if there's an endless loop kinda gameplay, where after beating the last boss, the game just takes you back to the first stage with higher difficulty or more traps on the environment that players can set a high score at. And that's all what I can think about this game. Trust me, this is a very addicting game. So if you like it or hate it, leave a trace down below and tell me if I missed something. Alright, thank you and goodbye.